Welcome Arithmetic Ninjas to find a percentage less than 10% by scaling up 1%. Now 1% is like a master key that unlocks many doors. So if we can find 1%, we just have to times it by 4 to get 4%. 1% times 6 will give you 6%. 1% times 9 will give you 9%. So finding 1% is very, very useful indeed. Now let's just look at some numbers. We're going to look at numbers that do end in some zeros. So, for example, the numbers 400, 600, 2,300 or 8,000. We're going to look at some numbers that don't end in zeros, so like 572, 693, 146, 9,248. So let's see what happens to find 1%. If there are some zeros on the end, so you've got to have at least 2 zeros for this to work. So if there's 2 zeros on the end, you can just move the decimal point 2 places in, and that will find you 1%. So for example, 1% of 400, move the decimal point 2 places in, 1, 2 would be 4.00, or in other words, just 4. 1% of 600 would be move your point 2 places in, put your decimal point there, that'll be 6. 1% of 2,300, move your point 2 places in, 1, 2. 1% of 2,300 is 23, move your decimal point 2 places in for 8,000, 1, 2, it'd be 80.00 or just 80. So 1% of 8,000 is 80. However, if there's no zeros there, you can still use the moving the decimal point in. So 1% of 572 is move your point in 5.72. 1% of 693, move your point in 2 places, 1, 2, 6.93. 1% of 146, move your point 2 places in, 1, 2, 1.46. 1% of 9,248, move your point 2 places in, 1, 2, 92.48. And using that approach, we can work out these questions. So, let's go back to question 1. 1% of 400, move your decimal point 2 places in, 1, 2, put your point in, 4.00. So the answer is basically just 4. 1% of 400 is 4. That's a nice easy one. They do get harder. Question number 9. 6% of 800. Remember, times 800 means of 800. Now, we can't work out 6% until we found 1% first. So 1%, if we move our point 2 places in, 1, 2, is 8.00. In other words, just 8. So 1% is 8. So 6%, we want 6 lots of that. 6 lots of 1% is 6%. So if we're timesing the 1% by 6, we need to times the 8 by 6. And 8 times 6 is 48. So 6% is 48. Question 12. 3% of 400. Well, let's start off by finding 1%. Again, move your decimal point 2 places in. 1, 2. That's 4.00, or in other words, just 4. But we want to find 3%. So if we times the 1% by 3, that's going to give us 3%. But you can't just times the 1% by 3, you've got to times the 4 by 3 as well. And 4 times 3 gives us 12. So 3% of 400 is 12. Question number 16. 7% times 600 is the same as 7% of 600. Let's find 1% first, like a master key that unlocks many doors. To find 1%, move your decimal point 2 places in, and that's 6.00, or in other words, just 6. But we want 7 lots of this 1%. 7 lots of 1% will give us 7%. But we need to times the 6 by 7 as well. And 6 times 7 is 42. So 7% of 600 is 42. Final question, 3% of 5,000. Well, 1% Again, move your decimal point 2 places in. So go to the end of the number and go 1, 2. That's 50.00. So in other words, 50. But we don't want 1%, we want 3%. So we're going to times that by 3. And that will give us our 3%. So we need to times the 50 by 3. 3 lots of nothing is nothing. 3 lots of 5 is 15. So the final answer is 150. 3% of 5,000 is 150. Now we've done questions 1, 9, 12, 16 and 20, you can go back and have a go at the ones we've missed. Good luck!